Good morning, everyone. This is Eddie, Poorboys Little Homestead. I'm back out here in my little workshop. Today, we're going to be giving a review over two of the Worx, W-O-R-X, electric products. First up is the Worx 120 volt, 15 amp, 18 inch chainsaw. And then we have the 10-foot pole saw. It's the WG309, 12 volt, 8 amp, 10 inch. Now I've had, and I still got, a steel chainsaw, a little 14-inch bar. But every time I've seen them want to have to cut a little limb or something, it's done been sitting and it won't crank. So I spend 2 hours taking the carburetor off, cleaning it and get it running to go cut a limb or a little tree or board or something. It don't take 30 seconds to cut. And it seemed like every time I wanted to use that chainsaw, it wouldn't run. So I've done some research on these electric ones. I have a little portable generator I can put on my little side-by-side or trailer behind my lawnmower. I can pull around wherever I need to cut something. My little portable generator is a Honda, so it pretty much fires up every time I pull the cord. But I purchased this 18-inch chainsaw. Now my expectations of this wasn't very much when I got it, guys. I was just getting something to trim some limbs when I needed a saw. I wasn't expecting a whole lot out of it, to tell you the truth. But after getting it, I've had this year and a half now. And I know since April of 2020, I have cut 22 trees off the little homestead here. From 6-inch diameters all the way up to that big pecan tree I cut was 24-inch, 26-inch diameter, which I had to do a little more sawing to get this 18-inch bar to do it. But once I got it cut, then I cut the limbs, cut them whole trees up with this saw. This saw has really surprised me. It cuts good. Now I have sharpened my chain several times, bought a new chain for it. Matter of fact, I've bought two new chains for it, as much cutting as I've been doing. But this saw, I'm really impressed with it. And if my memory's correct, I purchased this at Home Depot and I think it was like $129. It has metal bar teeth and they grip good for any of you who've used chainsaws when you're cutting the bigger logs and stuff. It has the right here where you put your bar oil in, keeps your chain oil. And it has a self-tensioning chain. And my advice on this, I'm going to show y'all how it unscrews. It just unscrews right here pretty easy. You can cut and cut and cut. And of course, anyone you can see, I left this dirty on purpose. You see how much sawdust is built up in there. You keep cutting and you keep cutting and that builds up. It will make your chain jump off the sprocket back here. But if you're ever so often while you cutting, when you're doing a lot of cutting like I was doing, just go on and stop, take that off and clean it out. I have a little air compressor. I walk back up into the shop. Now I take that back, I ride my side by side back up here to the little shop. And I blow this out and I continue going. As long as I do that, I ain't had no problem with the chain jumping off nor staying tight. But it's just plumb simple to take the bar off. There's your little hole right here where your chain oil, bar oil comes out to oil your chain. If you ain't never used a chainsaw, even if it's an electric one, battery operated or whatever, you have to keep the chain oil in there. If you don't, it's gonna burn your chain up and burn your bar up. But to install, you just stick that right back, the bar just slips right over there. Put your chain over your sprocket. Make sure your chain's in the groove on your bar. And this little piece just sticks right on here. It's got a little clip there that lines up, and then it's got a little, duck some more of that out. Got a little peg that sticks in the hole. And you just turn that, keep your bar pulled forward while you're turning on it. And you just turn this till it stops. You don't put no wrench on it. You just hand tight there and that chain's tight. Now speaking of the bar oil, like I mentioned earlier there, even if you've never used chainsaws before, you make sure you keep oil in you to oil your bar with. And this comes with a little bottle of bar oil. Pole saw did too. And you can purchase that if you need to get it at Walmart nowadays. But if you happen to be using your saws and you ain't got chainsaw bar oil, guys, when some of these chainsaw people out here sees this video, they gonna give me some bad comments. But you ain't gotta have chainsaw bar oil. You can save your oil that you change out of your tractor or out of your vehicles and keep it in an old jug, and that's all you need. Now, yeah, you don't want to put too thick oil in here, nothing like no gear oil or nothing, but you can use any kind of motor oil. Yeah, it may put out a little more oil than the bar oil that they sell, but what's it gonna hurt having a little, if it does put a little more oil out there on the old tree you cutting down? It ain't like, and I ain't talking about a lot of oil that you gonna be seeing come out. But you ain't got to go buy a special bar oil if you can't find none and you need to be cutting something. Get you some motor oil and pour in it. And when they start saying that won't work, let me tell you something. Car engines, them pistons go up and down billions of times while you driving. And that's metal on metal. This little chainsaw right here ain't nothing but a metal chain on a metal bar. But they can't tell me that their special bar oil is better than that automobile oil that keeps that $40, sometimes $60,000 vehicle running to ain't good enough for this $150, $125 chainsaw. But anyway, let's move on. It has the lock bar. Push it forward and it locks it so you can't accidentally give it gas when you set it down on the ground. You can lock the bar. Keep somebody, kid, something running up on you when you're busy. Got the little cord here. It's got it where you can run your extension cord in here and double it back around the hook there. That way it ain't always just steady coming unplugged on you. One of my tips I can give you is when I plug mine in my extension cord, I take me some tape, my tape it that way. Ain't nothing makes me madder than be in the middle of cutting and my cord done wiggle loose just a little bit, so I tape mine up. That's just old country boy tip y'all might want to use. It comes with your little guard you can keep on it. Keep from banging up your teeth on your chain. And when you buy a chainsaw, whether it's electric, battery operated, whatever it is, if you'll go on and look at the chain size and buy you a little hand file. Chainsaw chains is like a pocket knife. If you'll sharpen it before it totally just plumb dumb gets dull, it don't take but a couple licks on each tooth. So if you keep it sharp, it can always cut good and last you a long time. But if you let it just get to where it won't hardly cut it off, you're gonna have to spend a lot of time getting them chains sharpened. So let's move on to the pole saw. After I had this, I done had this, cut several trees with it, and it surprised me really. Yes sir, it did surprise me how good it worked. Matter of fact, of course a motor operated like the steel chainsaw, it runs way more RPMs. But this surprised me so well, and I was so happy with it. I was wanting a pole saw. Well, I didn't want one with a gas engine on it, because I ain't, after I got, pretty much once I get done what I'm going to do, maybe once a year do a little trimming. Other than that, just occasionally grab out the saw. And I didn't want to deal with the pole saw not running when I got ready to use it. So I said, well, this Worx Chainsaw is so good, I just went and purchased me this 10-inch pole saw, 10-foot, 10-inch ball. It says it's a 10-foot pole saw, but it actually, from when you stretched it out from tip to tip, it only measured 9.5 foot. And when it's in closed in, it measures 6.5 foot from tip to tip. Now this is, holding it at 10 foot long, it is a little top heavy. I ain't gonna say categorize no one, but if you're a little on the weaker side or on up in age, yeah, this is a little top heavy. Trying to reach out there up 10 foot above your head with it. So, but one of the features that's nice about this little pole saw, you unscrew this right here. Moving around on me. That's where I need that third hand again. If you can unscrew this on the handle, and you can undo it, and you got you a mini chainsaw, 10-inch bar. Now I cut some trees down a few weeks ago with this, 2 trees. That was about 6 inches in diameter. I knew the blade was sharper on this one because I hadn't resharpened my chainsaw since I used it last. So I grabbed this in here and I cut them trees down and cut them up with this little 10-inch saw. Same as the other. It has where you put your bar oil in it. You unscrew the self-tensioning tensioner here. The bar removes just like the one on a chainsaw. Same setup. Only difference in the pole saw is being as small as it is, it don't have metal bar teeth here. They plastic. But it was sold as a pole saw, so pole saw cutting limbs, you ain't gonna be using your bar teeth. When I cut them trees, they did alright, but they don't grip like them sharp bar teeth metal ones. but it wasn't designed to be. It's the same thing with your plug here, but when you put this bag on, when you want to use your pole, it just goes in here. You gotta get it. It's gotta get it lined up so it activates your trigger. It activates your trigger. So you gotta get that lined up and get your trigger up under that little plunger. And then you just plug it in to the pole. As my tip while ago, I always tape that with black tape because I don't want it coming loose when I'm in the middle of up there over my head, and then I have to stop and get it down and unplug it in case a limb hits it or something. It could pull it loose, but I always tape that up good when I'm using them. Extend it, you just flip the lever up there, bends out. And I can put my little Honda portable generator in my little lawnmower tag behind trailer. And I can take me a 25-foot extension cord or a 50-foot extension cord. As much as I do around here, I keep my little generator out there anyway in my trailer. So all I gotta do is grab these little electric saws and my extension cord. And I have yet had to do all this and nothing happens. Nothing happens. Spend 2 hours fixing it. You use it 30 seconds sometimes. Pole saw comes with a bar guard, like other. But guys, I give these, I had to give this one right here a 10 out of 10, as much as I've cut with it. Pole saw, I would like for Worx, and they may make one, and I may have not seen it, but if they made just a pole saw without to where it detaches and you use this as a little chainsaw, I think they could get it lighter weight on the front end. And that's one I would have purchased if I'd have seen it, because it would be lighter on the front end because I wanted the pole saw. If I wanted the little chainsaw, you're getting 2 in 1 here, but it's heavy on the front end. If they made just a pole saw without this detachment, it could be lighter like some of the other brands. But the reason I went with Worx is because I knew how good this one was, and once this poor boy finds something that's good, he kind of sticks with it. He don't like experimenting. So I'm gonna plug these up and I'm gonna let you see them run. I ain't gonna do no video on demo on cutting no limbs with it, cutting nothing with it. There's enough videos on YouTube if you want to watch somebody cut something, how to run a chainsaw. I'm just reviewing the product. Not being paid for reviewing these products, and I dang sure ain't never been given nothing to review. Somebody ever walks in here and gives me something brand new to review, y'all might see me turning flips on one of these videos. I ain't never had much given me. Always had to work for it. But anyway, I am finna plug them up and let you see them run there. Maybe hear them. Some of you may be curious how fast the chain spins. Well, moving right ahead, I'm finna plug this up. Like I said, it's got a deal on the end down here where you can bend your cord around like that. Stick it through the hole. Hook it behind that little hook. Pull on it. And that'll keep, when you're hanging your cord, that'll keep you from just snatching it loose and unplugging it. Just about anything electric products come with that. Electric weed eaters, chainsaw, tillers, But here she is, guys. Pretty fast. If you ever want to check your oiler on a chainsaw, no matter what kind it is, I'm going to do this on my table since it's so dirty, but you can point it toward the ground. Don't stick it to the ground, y'all. But you can point it and turn it on, and you can see oil splatters on that, on your ground, or maybe have it on a piece of board, something you can see. That way you'll know if your chain's oiling. If it ain't, that hole stopped up, and you need to take that off and clean it. Take your air and blow through that hole and the hole in your bar. Y'all can't see that, but it just leaves a mist of oil on there. And that's motor oil in here. It's just a thin mist. That's the only difference in thinner oil. It's just going to leave a little more mist. It's going to let a little more oil go through there. Or your bar oils, I don't know what grade it is, but it's certain thick. But like I said, that's why you don't want to put like 80 weight gear oil or nothing in here now, because it won't go through there and oil your chain. Or too thick of oil. I ain't gonna say 80 wouldn't work, but I ain't never used it. I always rather put thinner oil, more oil go through there and keep my bar lubricated. So now I'm gonna plug up the pole saw and let y'all hear it run. Alright, moving right along. I plugged up the pole saw. I got to mention both of these electric saws has got a button right here on the handle on the left side. That's your safety. You have to have that button pushed before you can pull the trigger. Just like on a skill saw, just about any kind of tool you buy nowadays, you got the safety. This world's done gone safety nuts. But anyway, I'm gonna turn it on here and let y'all hear it. Y'all can hear it's a little quieter. That's an 8 ounce versus 15 ounce, a lot of difference. When I was looking at these saws, you could get this saw, different bar lengths, different ounce. And if I ain't mistaken, when I bought this, they had one with a 15 ounce, this is 15 ounce, 18 inch bar. But the next one that went down, I can't remember if that was a 16 inch or a 14 inch. But the amp motor dropped considerably more. And I'm like, that's just for 2 inches of bar. I want the bigger amp engine. Even if I had a choice of buying this saw, 18 inch bar, with a 14 amp engine, 15 amp engine, or an 18 amp engine, I'm going with the 18 amp engine. That way it won't lug down. The bigger amp your motor is, the more it's gonna pull. When you start cutting into some harder, thicker wood. But y'all, I'm gonna take you outside. I'm gonna just give you a little view, at least of the pecan trees that I cut with these 2 saws right here. These 2 pecan trees, they done got too tall. One of them is rotting on the bottom, and I wanted to get them down before a storm came and blowed them on my house. I hated to cut them pecan trees. Didn't want them on top of my house. So you people out there that's seeing this, don't bash me too much for cutting my trees. Y'all got to understand that one was rotting and the other one's just too close to the house. One of them, the rotting one, I cut it totally down. You're gonna just see the stump. The other one is top, but it's considerably top short right now. I'm gonna give it a chance just to see if it comes back and what happens. If it don't, then we'll take it the rest of the way down. So let's go out there and just take a look at these stumps, give you an idea of what this electric saw cut. Alright guys, this is the 2 trees that was cut down and cut up with this Worx electric 10-inch pole saw and this Worx 18-inch 15-ounce chainsaw. The diameter on this pecan tree is 25 inches. You say how you cut a 25-inch tree with an 18-inch chainsaw. Very carefully. I did have a winch truck hooked on this tree when I was working on it. And I didn't cut the tree down from the top. I cut from the top down, one limb at a time. But that's a different topic there. That ain't got nothing to do with what I'm doing. I'm just showing y'all what these 2 Worx saws can do and how impressed I am. As you can see the tree behind me, I topped it. That's how I took this one down, started from the top coming down, but I'm gonna leave that one to see if it'll start coming back out and make us some, at least good enough to make some shade. I hate cutting a tree like this. I know I'm gonna get bashed from some of you people watching this video. This tree here, it was rotting. You know, Eddie wasn't gonna just let it sit here and fall on his house just cause he need to try to save a tree. I've cut down 20 plus trees with these 2 saws. You wonder why I cut down so many of my trees, because when I bought this place, I planted like 150 trees. So I had trees too close together. Once they got bigger, they was too close together. Plus I wanted to clear out some spots for a new garden area. So I got plenty of trees, and when I planted them thick, knowing I would thin them, but the thing is I should have thinned them while they was little, but I didn't. But guys, thanks for watching this video. If you like these kind of videos, give me a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button. Hope y'all have a great day.